We'll call this meeting to order of the September 18th, 2025 regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of School Trustees of the South Madison Community School Corporation. If you will please stand at this time, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll now have a moment of silence or prayer. Thank you. Dr. Hall, are there any adjustments to the agenda?
There are no adjustments tonight, President Wood.
Thank you. Our core purpose and our core goal. Our core purpose is success for all students. Our core goal is at least 90% of students will pass language arts and English and mathematics on state assessments. Our core values. We will continue to be an institution guided by ethical strength, known for its servant spirit and embodiment of the qualities of stewardship, putting students first in our priority and decision making. We have 1.5 comments from patrons. We do not have anyone that signed up this evening to speak. 2.1, Science of Reading, Dr. Miller.
To talk about the science of reading and how it's shaping our literacy instruction. Over the next few minutes, I will highlight what the science of reading is, why it matters, and the impact we're seeing with our students. First, reading is not, okay. I'll let her catch back up, because we should be on the first slide. Reading is not a natural process. Our brains are designed for communication, oral communication. We are not designed to read. The good news is, with all of the research, we are showing that about 95% of people can learn to read. So that's what we're going to talk about today with that. Can you go to the slide that says, what is science of reading? Yep, that one there. First of all, science of reading is not a program. It is the body of research that has happened over several decades on how the brain learns to read. Again, it's not a natural process. So how do we take our brain that is designed for oral communication and teach it the process of reading? You may have heard that there's a little tug of war in the reading instruction on between the different facets of it. And there's also some misunderstanding. Science of reading is not teaching phonics only. It is a blend of all 5 pillars. It's a blend of phonemic awareness, which is the sounds we hear. It's a blend of phonics, which is how we match the sound to the letters or the grapheme. It's fluency, and fluency is more than reading quickly. It's reading with intent, it's reading with expression, it's reading to the point that I can take the information in to get to the most important part of reading, and that's the comprehension pillar. So those 5 pillars is what it makes it up, and the science goes to all 5 of those pillars and how they interact. The research has come from neuroscience, cognitive psychology, developmental psychology, linguistics, speech and language pathology, communication, and also then the application portion, which is the education research. Big picture, the science of reading has 2 components. How do we take the spoken language and match it up with written words and get those 2 pieces together to where we can comprehend it? So big picture, we're moving from speech, which is natural, to print, which is something we have to adapt our brains for. All right, why? Why does it matter? Reading is the gateway to all of the other subjects. Mastering it early supports every single subject. There's a lot of long-term impacts to this. They show that people that aren't proficient by 3rd grade are 4 times as likely to drop out or become disengaged. Approximately 85% of the juveniles in our court system and 70% of all prisoners are functionally illiterate. And so you have long-term impacts on my economic status in the community as an adult and what I earn and all of those. For the short-term impact, intervention takes longer the older I get and have to intervene for reading comprehension. And so therefore, we want to hit the kids and work with them as early as possible. You can think of it this way: if I have a crummy foundation on my house, which is my phonics instruction, my phonemic awareness, if I have a crummy foundation on my house isn't very strong. And so to get to the comprehension is challenging if I don't have that. So what do we work with this? Here you can see the listening comprehension and the reading comprehension, the parts of the brain that are lit up. All of those parts of the brain have to function together to be able to read. The ones that are in green are things that aren't natural to our brain. So we have to teach the brain to match those letters, which are a picture, to the sound, to put those together into words. Next one. Essentially, we're rewiring the brain. If you look at this brain sample, our brain image here, you can see the top back part is where our sounds are designed into symbols, so we put them in a picture format. The very back of the brain is where we start to make meaning of the words we hear or we read, because really we're making meaning for words we hear in the back of our brain. And now we're saying, okay, here's this picture, these letters, and we're putting them together in this way, and that's now means this piece here. The front of the brain is where we process our speech, so our sounds come from there. And then the temporal part of the brain, the lower part of the brain, is where we make sense of words, we put connection, we build our background knowledge, and make all of that fit together. So essentially, good instruction lights up lots of parts of the brain, and that's what the research is showing us, and that's what we're pulling together into the classroom to say how they will help the kids learn to read, become fluent readers, and be able to do good comprehension. That takes a very explicit and systematic structure. For all kids, sometimes a kid's comes naturally to them, and they do. We have kids that come in early and are readers, but helping them fill in the puzzle as to why a sound is this way, or why a letter matches, or how the different sounds are, can help them down the road when the reading becomes more complex. So to this, our teachers are currently going through training on all of this with how the brain works, what strategies to use in the classroom. We're doing Keys to Literacy or Letters are the two programs that most of them are doing. And really the focus of that professional development is to help them understand how the brain learns and what strategies I should apply to get that learning and those connections built in the brain. Next part. This shows you a simple formula for what it is, and a key point here is that you have two parts: word recognition and language comprehension, understanding what the words mean and how they fit together. You can see below that some of the parts to that, but the key part I want to point out here is that it's a product. You're multiplying. The key piece here is, as we know, if I have minimal background knowledge and information and I can't comprehend it, I may be able to read the words, but if I have a 0 in that formula for language comprehension, my outcome is 0. I'm not comprehending the text in the same way back and forth. So that piece, that it's not an additive, it's not like when I start understanding phonics, then I add on comprehension and I get my result. It is a product. I have to have both of them at good solid background knowledge, good solid word recognition, be fluent, have all of those pieces together to get a good outcome. So we're working currently with both skills. Like in kindergarten, we're beginning to associate the sounds that they hear with the letters or the picture of the letter, so for example, the buff sound with the letter B, combining those and making sure they have a good solid foundation for combining those. But at the same time, we're working with comprehension. And we're working with them understanding stories, being able to get the picture or movie in their head. So what you will see is in some of these reading series that we're looking at, the text that kids are reading at sometimes seem to be well above their ability. It's not intended for them to read alone. We have to give them rich content in the reading comprehension side to be able to pull comprehension out of it. If you go all the way back to like a Dick and Jane kind of book, way back, there wasn't a lot of meat in the book to be able to pull. Yes, I can have a pattern, or some of your decodable books, you have it and I can decode it. There's not a lot of meat in the story to be able to work on my comprehension skills. So you'll see both of those. You'll see stories that they can comprehend and read themselves, and you'll see stories that are really for their comprehension component, and they can't read it by themselves. You may see some choral reading in that, to where we're reading it together as a group, because we've seen it, and so I'm trying to help you build that, but you will see at other times where they're just working on their decodable books. Okay. The next strand's a little muddier, lots of parts to it. You're really seeing the same thing as a simple formula. On the bottom, you see the word recognition and all of the parts that make up that word recognition to get you through your phonemic awareness, to decode words, to start encoding words, which means I can take what I hear and put it to print. So I can take the print and make it into a word, but I can also take what I hear and put it back into text. So going both ways. And then on the top part, you see all the pieces of the language comprehension. And again, in our professional development, we're working on what things do I need to do for phonemic awareness. Really, they say phonemic awareness can be taught in the dark because it's all sound. Phonemic awareness is all sound. What am I hearing? What beginning sound am I hearing? You're not looking at letters necessarily. You're going from the speech component, the sound component, to print. So when I get to the phonemic awareness, that part is, what do I hear in the letters and the sounds and so forth, and then move forward. And then on the top part, you have the structure of our language, you have building vocabulary. One thing we're starting this year is we have a handful of teachers diving a little bit more into morphology. So the makeup of words, more suffixes, more Greek parts, more Greek and Latin base words, more prefixes. And we're working on a cohesive structure to where that will build through the grades. And all of the series that we're looking at have a much stronger component for that piece, as far as kids knowing that this sound, this part of the word can make up lots of words. Therefore, we're enriching their vocabulary. Okay. Our district journey, we have been layering pieces in over the years. We currently have 2 series. We have Super Kids and Into Reading. And over the last couple of years, they have added some components as the science of reading keeps building and becoming more prominent. So we have some structured literacy time. So we, in the last several years, have definitely increased our phonics and phonemic awareness work in our primary grades. And I feel like it's pretty evident in our results for iRead and the growth we're seeing on iRead too. We're really helping our kids get that foundational skill to where they can break words apart and understand how to say them and so forth. We're also, I just mentioned the morpheme magic is what we're doing with the morphology. We have ongoing training, and we also are doing data dives and PLCs. So our teachers are meeting about once a month, specifically for where are we at. So I taught a unit, we've given a little test, we're talking as a grade level, where are we at? Where did the kids fall? Where was a weakness? Where was a strength? And then they're intervening short term for the kids that need just a little bit of tweak in something, basically like reteaching a small segment. that's how the PLCs work, where they're working together as a team. The data dives are at each big benchmark that we do, and during that, we look at all of our testing that we've done. So for your primary grades, we might be looking at NWA and some of the other tests. For your intermediate grades, we're looking at the iLearn checkpoints and the HMH growth measure that we take. And we're looking at that data to see where kids are at and trying to make not only core instruction decisions, like, we missed something here, we need to go back and do that as a group, or small group instruction where we can cluster kids together to move that group to the next step, or move them beyond if they're ready. Sorry, I did not read that. Okay, next one. Again, I think our work in science of reading and the work on those 5 pillars or 2 strands is evident in our iRead data. It's evident in our iLearn data and our growth that we've seen, where we fall relative to our peers and to the state. I think that we are seeing that outcome there, as is the state as a whole. Impact on our students is we're seeing kids that are more confident. I just was talking with a 2nd grade teacher, and she said, I had a little kid come up and say, I can sound out hard words now because we've given them the puzzle pieces. I can sound out hard words, and I don't give up now because I know the rules and the tricks and stuff. So they're excited by those pieces. We've got teachers, I talked to a teacher today who actually was just raving over her kids' comprehension. It's a group that struggles, but she said our conversation and our discussion on the topic was so rich because the kids are learning strategies to be able to do that comprehension. It was a safe place for those kids that maybe were a struggling fluency reader, but had a text that they could work through and talk about and see the pictures and understand the content of it. So they were really excited for that. What are our next steps? So we're continuing our professional development. We are, the state has a requirement now for any pre-K-5 teacher to add the literacy endorsement to their license once they renew July 1st of 2027. So if I renewed on July 1st, 2027, I would have to add it on. If I don't renew my license until July of 28, that's when I would have to add it on. So we've got a lot of teachers going through professional development right now. They will have to take the praxis with the state and adding an additional license to their current list.
Can I ask a question? So, which I have a teaching license, so if mine's not due for another 5 years, then I don't have to get that license until the 5th year? Okay.
Correct. Now, what I would say is there's a couple reasons to maybe go sooner. One, the state now has Keys to Literacy, which is a program you could do. It's totally on your own. It's asynchronous. You can go through that program. It's about 80 hours of content, and that is currently free. How long will the state have it free? I don't know. Last year or the year before that, it was not only free, but you also could get a stipend for finishing it out. Stipend's gone, but still free. We are doing in-house training with letters. We have 2 in-house trainers, Mrs. Moore and Mrs. Snodgrass. Both have gone to additional training and become trainers for it. So they are working with groups of teachers on that. As more and more teachers get trained, my pool gets smaller. Who has to do that? It's going to be a little harder to get. So, yeah.
When do you know when, like it says, considering new textbook series, when do you know when will you know what textbook series you're picking?
That lady that was
We have been
in
looking for
charge
about
of
a year and a half now.
homecoming stuff.
Well, not quite a year and a half. We have currently, at the last in-service in August, we have each of the vendors in that we had narrowed it down to. The state gave us an original list. We had a group of teachers go to the textbook caravan. We looked at all of those. We had analyzed those for our needs and what we thought would work. Narrowed that list down. And then We can make a decision right after that, so I'm hoping to have a proposal to you some at the December meeting, is
Okay.
what I would love to do. If we're not there yet, we're gonna wait. We've got plenty of time, because we don't need it till next fall, is when we'll implement. But we started with their list, we've studied it, we actually took the rubric that the state used to map to align with the law, the state laws. That's how they got their pool. We took that, and our elementary leadership team analyzed our current books using that rubric. And it was interesting, because home were like, why are we doing this? We already have it. And I said, I want you to understand the rubric and understand what they're asking of us with this series. And by using a resource we already have, we can do that. And the other part of that is, we've got this for another year. If you find a glaring gap, let's figure out how to fill that gap now versus waiting until we get a new series. So we looked at those pieces with that, so, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Dr. Miller? Dr. Miller, thank you for all your work on this. I know this is a real passion of yours, and you want to make sure our children know how to read, and you and your coaches, and you work very, very hard. So thank you. And thanks for sharing this with us. Thank you. 3.1, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees from September 4th, 2025. Anybody have any questions about that or any comments?
Nope.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Gender,
Yes.
Mike Hanna.
Yes.
Bill Hutton.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. 3.2, approval of accounts payable vouchers. Any questions about those?
Nope.
No questions? We'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Gender,
Yes.
Mike Hanna.
Yes.
Bill Hutton.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. 4.1 through 4.6 are those consent items. If there are no objections, we'll take those together. Any questions about those? So we'll take a motion, entertain a motion on 4.1 through 4.6, please.
Motion to approve?
Second. Okay. Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Gender,
Yes.
Mike Hanna.
Yes.
Bill Hutton.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. 5.1, contract approval. Mr. McCarty?
Thank you, President Lord. Tonight, the administration is requesting approval of one contract with RICO for a copier, and this will be placed in the high school and fax credits.
All right, any questions for Mr. McCarty?
Motion to approve.
Okay,
Second time.
okay. Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Gender,
Yes.
Mike Hanna.
Yes.
Bill Hutton.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Lord.
Yes. 6.1, acceptance of non-resident students. Mr. Crewer?
Thank you, President Lord. The administration recommends the acceptance of 3 new non-resident students to South Madison as presented. Also, from this point forward, any new or any non-resident students have to be brought to the board for approval from now until May roughly would be any continuing students, meaning they're currently with us, they have moved out, wish to remain, and any same household, students who have moved into the same household of the non-resident that's current.
Any questions for Mr. Crewer?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Gender,
Yes.
Mike Hanna.
Yes.
Bill Hutton.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Lord.
Yes. School calendar, 6.2, Dr. Hall.
Thank you, President Ward. What you'll find in board docs is a proposed school calendar for next school year, 26-27 school year. So we've taken input from the Classroom Teacher Association. Essentially, it is a calendar that corresponds to the same dates that we were using this year, so I'll be glad to answer questions you have.
Any questions for Dr. Hall? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Penny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Ginder,
Yeah.
Mike Hannah,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
Mark Thompson,
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. 7.1, communication from patrons. We did not have anyone sign up this evening. 7.2, communication from the superintendent. Dr. Hall?
I just have one, we had our first ambassador meeting yesterday. We had a really nice group show up, and so I'm looking forward to working with them throughout the year.
Okay. 7.3, communication from the Board of School Trustees. Mr. Ginder?
Well, congratulate the homecoming, turned out just unbelievably great. I think it went really well. I think there was the candy issue was a little bit of an issue, but I agree with it, so.
Oh.
And then the seventh graders I'm coaching are playing this, I left at halftime, they're tied 6-6 right now, so.
With a new pal, huh? All right. Good. All
That's all I
right.
have.
Mr. Hannah?
Attended the ISBA Fall Conference on Monday and Tuesday in Indianapolis. This is a meeting is a yearly meeting we attend, and it's pretty well attended. Also, homecoming was really nice. It was just almost overwhelming, the number of people involved and on the streets and at the parade, and it was really good. And it's all good.
Good. Mrs. Blake?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Hutton? Nope. Mr. Evans?
Nope.
Mr. Thompson?
Nope.
Okay. I just want to say, I attended a girls' golf match about 10 days ago. It was fascinating this way. The girls were so polite to each other. I mean, the teams, you know, the Greenfield girl and the Pendleton girl, they were laughing, they were having fun, they were congratulating each other on shots. They were helping with each other's club selection. They were very respectful of the course. It was really fun. It was fun to watch them play. So I thought they did a great job. I also attended the ISBA Fall Conference, and it was good. Okay, let's go to 8.1, adjournment of the regular meeting. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Benny?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Ginder,
Yes.
Mike Hannah,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. We will go right now to the budget hearing. We will open that up. Mr. McCarty?
Thank you, President Lord. This is the budget hearing for the advertised 2026 budget, as well as the 5-year bus replacement plan and the 3-year capital project plan. This hearing is part of the budget process, which gives the public an opportunity to ask questions about the advertised budget. The administration has followed the corporation's adopted budget calendar and guidelines set by the Department of Local Government Finance. On Thursday, August 21st, 2025, a budget work session was held so the administration and the Board of School Trustees could discuss the 2026 budget. On Thursday, September 4th, 2025, the administration was given permission by the Board of School Trustees to advertise the 2026 budget, as well as the bus replacement plan and capital project plan. The budgets were uploaded to Gateway as well as posted on the SMCSC website, both of which are required by state law. So this brings us to the next step of the budget process, which is the budget hearing. The budget hearing must be at least 10 days prior to the adoption, and our calendar has set the budget adoption for 2 weeks from tonight, which will be October 2nd. At 7 p.m., so we are in compliance with this DLGF guideline as well. So at this point, I will open up the hearing and answer questions that the public or school board may have about the proposed 2026 budget, bus replacement plan, and capital project plan as advertised. So,
Any questions of Mr. McCarty? Okay,
this concludes the budget hearing.
all right, so we're adjourned then.
Okay.
We have to vote on that, Dr. Hall?
Yes.
No, he said no. I
No.
think we had, didn't say anything. Okay, we'll vote. Sure, okay, motion on the adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Patty?
Anna Blake,
Yes.
Doug Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Kendrick,
Yes.
Mike Hanna.
Yes.
Bill Head.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. We'll go into executive session in 5